Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sunset TV. I am Tina Jha, you're watching Perspective. The Reserve Bank of India will soon commence limited pilot launches of the digital rupee for specific use cases. A concept note on the central bank digital currency was released on Friday. It explains the objectives, choices, benefits and also the risks of issuing digital rupee. The 51-page document also discusses key considerations such as technology and design choices, possible uses of digital rupee, issuance mechanisms, at the same time examining the implications of introduction of CBDC on the banking system, monetary policy, financial stability, also privacy issues. So an esteemed panel of guests will put these aspects into perspective for us today. Let me begin by introducing them to you. Pleased to welcome on this edition of the program Dr. Aruna Sharma, former member, Digitization Committee, RBI, Mr. Ramesh Singh, former Executive Director, Dena Bank, and Dr. Anil Kumar, Professor, Delhi School of Economics, Delhi University. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on the program today. Dr. Kumar, let me begin the program today with you. And before we begin talking about the CBDC and the concept note that the RBI has released, for the benefit of our viewers, let's begin with the basics. Let's understand first, what is a digital rupee? What is its utility?
Digital rupee, is I would say, a digital or virtual currency. But what the RBI has envisaged in the concept note, and also which was explained very well by Honorable Finance Minister while presenting the budget in February 2022, that the scheme is going to be the central bank digital currency. What we have at present in different countries of the world and some pockets in India, this is a private virtual currencies, which is owed to the historical concept of money. These are not commodities or claims on commodities, as they have no intrinsic value, being issued, monitored by the RBI, Reserve Bank of India. That means it will be fully secured. And at the same time, so far as the settlement is concerned, there is no risk in settlement also. So it is, the definition of money is going to change because of this definition of currency, which we used to understand that currency is a fiat, is a legal tender. But now the currency form is going to take a different form so far our country is concerned. Now the currency would include the digital or virtual currency also besides the paper currency. That means it has everything which are akin to paper currency. The only difference is in the form that it is in the digital form based on the blockchain technology.
Okay, so
the concept note has been issued.
Sure.
What's the purpose for this concept note? So the purpose is to create awareness that this CBDC, central bank digital currency, is as close as possible to the paper currency, and to manage the process of introducing digital rupee in a phased manner. As in the concept note, it has been clear that it would be issued on a pilot basis. So I think that it's a very good step the RBI has taken, that the awareness has to be created and then it will be managed centrally. That means it will have the guarantee of the central bank of the country.
Okay, Dr. Kumar, so we'll be talking about all of these aspects that the RBI has mentioned in the concept note. Dr. Aruna, coming to you to understand, because you've been associated with the organization for so long, you understand basically what they're trying to say in the concept note. For a layman to understand the 51-page document is difficult. So if I could ask you to break it down for our viewers in the sense that how different is CBDC going to be from the other virtual currencies? What are going to be its most salient features in terms of the security aspect? What are the protocols, the measures that the RBI has also spoken about in this concept note?
Mr. Anil has really put the concept and the framework very, very clearly. Let me elaborate on this a little bit, that even though they have termed it as a digital rupee, it is actually a legal tender where they want to make it as close as possible to the paper currency so that they can manage the process of introducing this in a seamless manner. So in the sense, the paper currency in a gradual manner will be replaced or as a second option available to have a digital rupee. It is different from the digital transaction we were doing because our currency was the paper currency. We were doing the transactions digitally. But now our currency itself will be in a digital form. Now, when we are talking about this, therefore, they have the choices. So they have divided their paper into sections. And I'll just in brief explain you each of the section. When they talk of design choices, what they are targeting at is that when they are taking of design choices, the function is to perform the design determinants and its implications in the payment system, monetary policy, everything. So whether they want to go for the wholesale or the retail, whether it will be direct or indirect, right? Whether it will be token based or account based, whether it will be an instrumental design where it is sort of remunerated or non-remunerated, and the privacy issues in terms of anonymity. So that is the way they are going ahead into this. And if I take one by one, then when you're talking whether it is CBDCW, that is wholesale or retail. So wholesale is where it is goes only to select financial, which is today happening. Paper currency they give to the banks, and banks manage, and then we have accounts, and then we withdraw from the accounts. But retail moment you talk about retail, it will be an electronic version of the cash meant for the retail transactions. So that is a choice now RBI has to take to start with whether they want to restrict themselves to wholesale or they really want to go even for the retail at the first stage. Then they are talking about how they will issue. So they will have a direct model where RBI takes, as a central bank, complete responsibility, or they will have a two-tier system where the central bank and some intermediary banks take the responsibility of issuing it, account keeping, and restricting KYC, etc., as it is done today by the banks. So this is also a choice they will have to experiment when they are going ahead with it. Then the forms they are talking about, whether it is going to be token based or account based. So when you talk of token based, it means that it is like a bearer check, right? So whosoever holds it, you own, say, 500 rupees or you own 2000 rupees. Whereas when you look at the account base, then it goes through the transfer of the accounts as to what you hold in the account. So this is how they are going to do. And then, of course, the last but not the least is the issue of anonymity, that all this is going to be like in a distributed ledger system, in a blockchain technology. So every transaction will be like an itch and rock, but then to what extent they should maintain the trail of the money where the anonymity is to be exercised is a choice. So considering all this, this concept note is issued so that all the players into it, that is the banks, the payment systems, as well as the end users, try to understand and are familiar with the concept. And then they want to do a pilot study on it so that they understand how, on which of the choices which I mentioned they should go in for as stage one, and then the others will follow. So
Okay.
this is what it is going to be. It is definitely the value of the money is same as going to be if it's 100 rupees, it is 100. If it is 2000, it is 2000. You are not going to gain anything on it. But there is a talk whether there'll be an interest system also, like I put in the FD or I put in the savings account, I get 2% or 6%, whether that will be allowed. If that is allowed, then definitely it is going to impact the entire system of the banks if we are going ahead with it.
Certainly.
So that is how it stands
So
today.
I'll get Mr. Singh's perspective on otherwise also, interest or no interest. Mr. Singh, how is the digital rupee going to impact the current banking system in India?
Yeah, Aruna Madam has very clearly elaborated in nutshell as to what this currency is going to be. In fact, the moment I saw the concept note, the first thing being a banker, I went to the whether what the bankers are going to impact it. And when I read it is presently RBI has taken every care to see to it is in sync with the banking system, and banks, if any interest is paid on this deposit, this CBDT, naturally banking deposits will shift away from them to CBDT accounts, intermediaries, or even Reserve Bank of India. And then quite likely banks, in order to maintain their NIM, net interest margin, with whatever deposits and lending they are to do, there is quite likely there will be higher rate of interest will be offered on the existing deposit, a physical cash deposit with them, and they will also simultaneously be able to increase the lending rate. So that could have been double whammy on the both the side. Either from depositor would be happy, but our borrowers would have been becoming very sad because rate of interest are going up or cost of funds are going up. So I feel this CBDT is going to be the currency of the future for our country. At the same time, as I read from the concept note, this is going to be extremely useful for reaching to the remote areas, financial inclusion in particularly, which the banks have done their role, they have played their role, but still it feels that CBDT's introduction may reach out to masses because even today in most of the part of the country, internet access is not available. If it is available, it's quite say shaky. So with the offline this transaction which can be done through this CBDT is going to be a boon for those people who are in the remote areas who are presently unable to get into this financial inclusion program of the country. I must say this CBDT currency, while it is a challenge for the banking system, but as it was when various other currencies came into like UPI, other things, but they have to route to the banking system. As such, I feel maybe down the line, 10 years from here, they may become, say, a big challenge. But as of now, I don't see it's a big challenge for the banking industry as a whole.
Okay,
Thank you.
Dr. Kumar, we'll speak about the challenges in a little while from now, but let's understand some of the other objectives and the other benefits that the concept note cites. Dr. Kumar, the other aspect is the fact that we've been working towards financial inclusion. There are certain challenges which persist, but towards enhancing financial inclusion, what role do you see the digital rupee playing?
I think that Mr. Ramesh Singh has explained it very well. So far as the financial inclusion index is concerned, of course, various stakeholders, including RBI, banks, and different players, have done a fantastic job over the last 4 or 5 years. But the annual financial inclusion index for India for March 2022 is 56.4 and slightly higher than the last year, because last year it was 53.9. That means despite various measures taken by various stakeholders in strengthening the financial inclusion, further efforts are needed. And some of the existing challenges are, there are limited physical infrastructure, especially in remote areas. Then there's a poor connectivity. It's another big issue, poor connectivity and non-availability of the products which are, attuned to the marginalized section of the population. Then some socio-cultural barriers are there, lack of integration of credit with livelihood activities. These are some of the bottlenecks which we have been facing over the years. Now, CBDC may provide the public a safe digital money. Safe part is very important because it is guaranteed by Reserve Bank of India. So it provides the public a safe digital money for meeting various transactions needs, and it will make financial services more accessible to unbanked and underbanked population. As pointed out by Mr. Singh also, the offline functionality, that would be one of the options in this product that would allow CBDC that where the transactions can be made without the use of internet. And thus it will enable access in the regions which are poor or where there is a poor internet connectivity. This is, I think, one greatest advantage which you're going to have. Another advantage, I would mention it here, is that this has been mentioned in the concept note also, there is going to be reduction in the cost in the physical cash management. Like the total expenditure in printing of cash right now is about rupees 5,000 crore. and this does not include the environmental, social, and governance cost in printing of money. So this cost is borne by whom? Basically by the public, by the banks, and by the central bank. So CBDC system would allow there is no need for printing of money. That means it will reduce the operational cost related to printing, storage, transportation, and the handling. So I think that it is going to be immensely benefit to the Indian economy.
Certainly. So these are certain benefits which will help us, move closer towards becoming a digital economy, Dr. Sharma. But there are several risks that have also been cited in the concept note, some of which has been spoken about your fellow panelists. But what concerns the common man is that the more we move towards digitization, the greater the risk of cyber risk as well. And this is something that every person who is using this technology will be concerned about. So have there been any mentions of how we are going to address this particular challenge?
You have said it very right. Like if you remember in Hindi movies or even English movies, used to have robbers going and looting the banks or looting the cash. So that transformation is going to come in the form of cyber attacks on your account or on your transactions and everything. So definitely when there is a chapter on technology, it is to take care of the cyber security system into all your transactions. So on one hand, you have to make it consumer friendly. On other hand, you have to be constantly vigilant on the cyber attacks that is going to happen. And definitely the response time is something very, very important. Like even today, when you in the transaction tight system that you are having, and a layer of tokenization is being talked about, even though the banks are still preparing or merchants are still preparing for it, it is all heading towards creating an additional layer for the cyber. And here, when your entire money is kept in a digital format or in a digital account with no physical account with the banks, ultimately, if it reaches that levels, then definitely one is prone to these attacks. But I'm very sure the cybersecurity systems will be built, so common people need not worry. They were scared when they went for digital payment. And if you look at the digital payments, the attacks and the harm done is in decimals, 0.0001. And I'm sure Mr. Ramesh Singh will endorse upon it on credit card and debit card also. The percentage of fraud is again in decimals. It is not a very big thing that has happened, and 99.9 is going absolutely fair and secure, whether you're indulging in net banking or whether you're indulging through card payments. So, with this kind of a system, definitely that awareness and technology has to be very robust. The entire world is exchanging views on CBDC. No country has gone ahead with it full fledged as yet. Everybody is working upon it. But then, yes, as Mr. Anil rightly said, we are with digital payment itself, your printing of money requirement comes down. And with CBDC, it will come down all the more. And that money should make the transaction much, much cheaper, cross border transaction cheaper. The black money handling becomes very easy because there is no physical money available. So automatically it will move towards it. So that is the ultimate aim which is going for. So yes, cybersecurity is concerned, but not something to be scared of. It does not mean you stop walking because someday you may fall down. No problems.
Certainly. So these are going to be, this is going to be, in fact, a significant milestone. As the RBI says, it is a watershed moment, Mr. Singh, in the evolution of currency. It's going to take us forward when we talk about turning towards a digital economy. But in terms of the shift, the transformation that our domestic banking system will have to undergo, what are some of the hurdles that you see?
First of all, I really appreciate Dr. Anil and Arunaji. They have very nicely explained the risk associated and so also the challenges for the banking industry. I must say that with the cash getting replenished by CBDT in near future, the cost for the end use consumer will come down. But at the same time, as Aruna ma'am was saying, कि through डाल तो मैं पात पे यहाँ पे will have to be very, because hackers and these cyber criminals are quite say ahead of us. So that challenges definitely Reserve Bank of India and the stakeholders will be taking into account. I must say, this CBDT will bring a big revolution. I can tell one simple example. In olden days, if I had to send my money, say for instance, only a few days back, I had to send money for margin money, say rupee to my son who is in, I'm in Mumbai and he is in Delhi, 20 lakh rupees to be sent. It went in a click of button and I had to pay only 58 rupees and that amount was 20 lakh rupees. Quite cheap and instantly. I just click a button, that bank did and the money was in his account. So CBDT definitely is going to be a big thing for the future. And challenges, as usual, every challenges banking industry has faced. Banking industry is not, which has come up only recently. They've seen all ups and downs of whatever it may be. Maybe it may be pandemic, it may be, say, computation and whatnot. So I'm sure my people already, my contemporaries who are in the banking system as of now, they will take note of this new currency which is going to come in future, and they will definitely take the every precaution. So also every action they will take into the system to ensure that we remain ready for meeting this CBDT.
Mr. Singh, we don't know when the launch is going to happen. It's been talked about for several months. The RBI has now, again announced that it's going to happen soon. But when it happens, it's going to be suddenly, the question here is, how prepared are we to adapt to this change, to this kind of generational shift, to say?
Certainly, as I say, we bankers were worried, if this money in CBDT, balances kept in CBDT were to say on interest for them, naturally banks would have been a bigger sufferer. But now this is being seen as of now, no interest will be paid on the money which flows from the consumer's account to the RBI in their CBDT form. That challenges definitely are elevated from the present scenario. But in near future, I remember when the RTGS, NFTs, other things were introduced, everything was given for free. Then later on, Reserve Bank of India started charging to everyone, and we in turn have to charge. Similarly, ATMs also charge transactions. So naturally, this is a big challenge, but banks are fully geared up. They will see to it as this money is now being used for the payment, whether this can be explored for lending, whether legal perspective are taken into account by the government of India and so back. So also Reserve Bank of India to ensure that lending platforms which are there nowadays on the mobile or the thing, whether such platforms are also there available for CBDT, and the borrowers can also get a facility, avail this facility for borrowing and repayments.
Okay, Dr. Kumar, I'll begin taking the last comment. So this one is about how many countries have actually launched such kind of central bank digital currencies. What are some of the best practices that we can adapt? Although we understand there are limitations because of the kind of diversity and disparity that India has, but in terms of some of the best practices in addressing the security risks.
I think that overseas is a unique case. Let's be honest about it. Because the financial inclusion and digital literacy has not made deep inroad inside the country. People are still becoming victim to all kind of fraud so far as digital payments are concerned. And let's accept one more fact, that cryptocurrency is here throughout the world. In India also, whether you make it legal or illegal, Government of India has also introduced the tax at the flat rate on cryptocurrency. Does not mean that it has been legalized. So it is here to stay. But our regulator, Reserve Bank of India, the central bank of the country, has always been appreciated for strengthening our financial system, insulating it from all kind of risk. That is why the unique kind of stand our country is going to take, and that is having the introduction of cryptocurrency or the digital currency in a gradual manner.
Okay. Dr.
as
Sharma?
has been laid down in the concept
Dr.
note
Kumar, we'll have to leave it at that.
interview.
Time is running out. I'll just take the last word from Dr. Aruna Sharma. You know, a few years ago, we couldn't have imagined that India is actually on way to adopt this kind of change. And today, it seems that it's going to happen very, very soon. We're all ready to adapt this kind of change. Dr. Sharma, is digital currency, and do you see digital currency, in fact, becoming the primary currency?
Definitely. Digital currency is something, an experiment going across the globe. And in coming years, that is the format it is going to take. Whether that time takes is 2 years, 5 years, or 8 years, that is the time it will say when it will settle down. Because this is something where the different issues have to be settled, to what extent and how many steps they can walk today. Like I mentioned, the various options they have for each one of them, whether they want to go wholesale or retail, anonymity issue, technology issue, it is distributing ledger, whether they want everything centralized or they want to use intermediaries. All these questions will have to be answered. Only then it will move. And China tried, but then they immediately went slow about it and stopped it en route. So in the sense, there are a lot of answers that needs to be addressed. But to say in a single word, yes, this is the future. And we are on a right path. It will take a little time when we move towards it. And slowly we will be graduating towards a CBTC kind of a legal tender.
Okay, so this is the future and India is ready to step into this future. That having been said, I'll have to wind up the program. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on the program today, sharing your thoughts with us and our viewers. Absolute pleasure to have all three of you on this edition of Perspective. So that's it from us on the program today, viewers. Thank you very much for your time as well. I'll see you same time on Monday now. Until then, you take good care of yourselves and keep watching Sunset TV.